In the year 1492, a new world emerges from the horizon, a land destined to be a beacon of freedom and opportunity. This land, vast and diverse, was discovered by a man named Christopher Columbus, an Italian explorer sailing under the Spanish flag. His voyage across the Atlantic was motivated by a desire for knowledge and an insatiable curiosity about what lay beyond the known world. This New World, as it was then called, was already home to a myriad of indigenous cultures, each with its own rich tapestry of traditions, beliefs, and social structures. From the Iroquois in the northeast to the Navajo in the southwest, from the Inuit in the Arctic to the Mayans in Central America, these cultures thrived and flourished, each contributing to the vibrant mosaic that was, and still is, the Americas. However, the arrival of Columbus and the European powers that followed brought about an era of significant change. The Europeans, driven by a thirst for wealth and power, began to colonize the land, bringing with them their own customs, languages, and religions. This had a profound impact on the indigenous cultures, altering the course of their history forever. But it was not only the indigenous peoples who were affected by the European arrival. The Europeans themselves were transformed by this new world. They found a land of immense natural resources and potential, a land that challenged their preconceived notions and expanded their horizons. They established colonies, built settlements, and slowly but surely they began to see this new world not just as a foreign land, but as a home. In the face of adversity and through countless trials and tribulations, a new society began to take shape. A society that was a fusion of European and indigenous cultures, a society that was unique, diverse, and resilient. This society was the beginning of something bigger, something grander, something that would eventually evolve into one of the most powerful nations in the world. Thus begins the saga of a land, a dream, a nation that will be known as America. In the 18th century, a cry for freedom echoes across the 13 colonies. As the colonial settlers chafed under the rule of the distant British monarchy, their longing for liberty began to take shape. This wasn't merely a political dispute, it was an emotional struggle for freedom, a burning desire to carve out their own destiny in this new world. The American Revolution was more than just a war. It was a crucible of ideas, a battleground where the concepts of self-governance, representative democracy, and the rights of the individual were tested and honed. The colonists, despite their diverse backgrounds, banded together in a shared vision of freedom, their unity symbolized by the 13 stripes on a flag that would come to represent a new nation. The Declaration of Independence, signed on July 4, 1776, was a bold statement, a daring challenge thrown at the feet of the mightiest empire of the time. Penned by Thomas Jefferson, it was more than a document. It was a promise that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The path to freedom, however, was fraught with hardship. The Revolutionary War was a grueling test of endurance and commitment. It was a time of sacrifice, of families torn apart, of lives lost, and yet, through it all, the flame of freedom never flickered. It burned brightly, a beacon guiding the colonists through the darkest nights of their struggle. And then, victory. The surrender of the British at Yorktown marked the end of the war, but not the end of the journey. The real task was just beginning. To build a nation from the ashes of war, to fulfill the promise of the Declaration. With the echo of the Liberty Bell, a new nation is born, one that cherishes life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The birth of the United States of America was not just the birth of a country. It was the birth of an idea, an ideal, a beacon of hope for the world. In the 19th century, a nation unified in its birth finds itself divided. It's a tale of two halves, a house divided against itself as the United States navigates the treacherous waters of civil unrest. The Civil War, a pivotal moment in American history, sets the stage for a fight that echoes beyond the battlefield. It's a struggle not just over territories, but over the very soul of the nation. At the heart of this conflict lies a contentious issue that strikes a discordant note in the symphony of unity: slavery. Imagine, if you will, a nation grappling with its own conscience. On one side, the advocates of a system that binds men and women in chains, justifying it with economic arguments and societal norms of the day. On the other, a growing tide of voices crying out for equality, for the recognition that all men are indeed created equal. The Civil War wasn't merely a clash of arms. It was a war of ideals, of values, of visions for what America could and should be. It was a struggle for the soul of the nation, for the principles upon which it was founded. The conflict rages on for 4 long, arduous years. The toll is heavy: lives lost, families torn apart, cities reduced to rubble. Yet, amidst the devastation, a glimmer of hope persists. The Emancipation Proclamation, a beacon of light in the dark times, signals a shift. The chains of slavery begin to break, freedom rings out, and a divided house takes its first steps towards unity. The Civil War leaves an indelible mark on the nation, a scar that serves as a reminder of the cost of freedom, of unity, of progress. Yet it also paves the way for a new era, for a united America that stands stronger, more resilient. From the ashes of a brutal conflict, a nation emerges, scarred yet united, moving towards a future filled with hope. The 19th century closes its chapter, leaving behind a legacy of a house divided, a house reunited, and a house ready to face the challenges of a new century. The Roaring Twenties come to a shattering halt as the Great Depression engulfs the nation. In the blink of an eye, the country that had reveled in the splendor of the Jazz Age found itself spiraling into the deepest economic downturn in its history. It was a time of profound hardship, a time when the American dream seemed more like a distant mirage than an achievable goal. In the wake of the stock market crash of 1929, the economy was brought to its knees. Businesses shut down, banks failed, and millions of hard-working Americans lost their jobs. Breadlines snaked down city streets, and makeshift shanty towns known as Hoovervilles sprang up across the nation. The land of opportunity had become a landscape of despair. But this was not just an economic crisis, it was a human one. The Great Depression was a test of survival, of endurance. It was a time when ordinary people had to find extraordinary strength within themselves. The struggle was real, the pain was deep, but the spirit of the American people remained unbroken. Families, friends, and communities banded together, sharing what little they had. They bartered goods, grew their own food, and held on to hope, even in the bleakest of times. They learned the true meaning of resilience, the power of perseverance. And amidst the hardship, there were stories of inspiration. Men and women who refused to be defeated by adversity, who found innovative ways to survive, to thrive. They were the embodiment of the indomitable American spirit, a testament to the resilience and tenacity of a nation. These were the darkest days of America's history, but they were also a time of incredible resilience. The Great Depression forged a generation of survivors, of fighters who would go on to shape the future of the nation. It was a testament to the enduring spirit of America, a spirit that could not be broken, even in the face of the most severe adversity. In the face of adversity, the spirit of America endures, resilient and hopeful. The 1940s, a decade when the world is engulfed in a war of unprecedented scale. In this tumultuous era, America found itself stepping onto the global stage in a more formidable role than ever before. With the echoes of Pearl Harbor still ringing in their ears, Americans felt a shift in the winds of their destiny. The nation, once content to observe the war from afar, was suddenly thrust into the heart of the chaos. As the conflict spread across the globe, America stepped up to the challenge. Factories that once produced cars and tractors were swiftly transformed, churning out tanks and aircraft at a relentless pace. On the home front, men and women alike rolled up their sleeves, their hearts swelling with a fierce determination. They were not just building weapons and machinery. They were forging the tools of freedom, the instruments of victory. And overseas, American soldiers, sailors, and airmen bore the weight of their nation's hopes and fears. From the scorched sands of North Africa to the dense jungles of the Pacific, they fought with courage and resilience, their spirits unyielding even in the face of unimaginable horrors. Throughout the long, grueling years of battle, America held its breath, praying for the safe return of its sons and daughters, for an end to the global nightmare. And then, finally, came the sweet, joyous relief of victory. The news of the war's end sparked celebrations that echoed from coast to coast, a wave of euphoria sweeping across the nation. Yet, in the midst of the jubilation, there was a solemn understanding. The world had been forever scarred by the war, and America, having borne witness to this devastation, felt a newfound responsibility. This was not just victory, it was a call to leadership, a summons to step up and guide the world towards a future of peace and prosperity. Victorious yet solemn, America emerges as a superpower, a beacon of hope in a world weary of war. In the 1960s, a new battle for freedom echoes across the nation. A battle not fought on foreign soil, but right here in the heart of America. It was a battle for equality, for justice, for the very soul of the nation. This was the Civil Rights Movement, a pivotal chapter in American history that saw ordinary citizens rise up against systemic oppression, demanding the rights and respect they had been denied for too long. They were mothers and fathers, sons and daughters, students and teachers, people from all walks of life, bound by a shared vision of a better, fairer America. They bore the weight of centuries of discrimination, yet they marched on, their spirits unbroken, their resolve unyielding. Their fight was not an easy one. They faced violence and hatred, brutality and prejudice, yet they marched on, their courage and inspiration to us all. They dreamed of a day when the color of one's skin would not dictate one's future, a day when liberty and justice for all would not just be words in a pledge, but a living, breathing reality. They were led by visionaries like Martin Luther King Jr., who dared to dream of an America where his children would not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. A dream that resonated with millions and continues to inspire us even today. The Civil Rights Movement was not just a struggle for racial equality, but a testament to the power of the human spirit. It showed us that change is possible when we stand together, that no challenge is too great, no obstacle too daunting, when we dare to dream and strive for justice. The fight for civil rights continues even today, with battles for equality and justice still being fought. But the civil rights movement of the 1960s serves as a beacon, a reminder of what we can achieve when we stand together, when we refuse to be silenced, when we dare to dream. Through the struggle, America learns a valuable lesson that all men are created equal. A lesson that continues to shape our nation, reminding us of the power of unity, the strength of the human spirit, and the enduring value of freedom. And as the 20th century gives way to the 21st, America faces new challenges and opportunities. In the blink of an eye, the world transforms, becoming smaller and more connected. Technology advances at an unprecedented pace, catapulting us into an era of digital revolution. The internet, once a novelty, becomes indispensable, reshaping how we work, play, and communicate. From Silicon Valley's tech giants to the humblest of startups, America stands at the forefront of this transformation, shaping the future while grappling with the implications. But it's not all smooth sailing. The dawn of the new millennium also brings with it a shadow, the war on terror. The tragic events of September 11th, 2001, forever etched themselves into our collective memory, a stark reminder of our vulnerability. The nation rallies, showing the world the strength of American resolve as we wage a war against unseen enemies. It's a battle fought not just on foreign soil, but in the hearts and minds of every American. Yet, even as we adapt to new realities, the economy takes a hit. The recession of 2008 shakes us to our core. Millions find themselves out of work, homes are lost, dreams shattered. It's a trying time, a test of our collective spirit. But we endure. We pick up the pieces, rebuild, and forge ahead because that's what Americans do. The new millennium is a roller coaster of triumph and trial, innovation and introspection. It's a time of rapid change and adaptation, of seeking new beginnings while honoring our past. It's a time that tests our mettle, challenges our values, and forces us to redefine what it means to be American. As we navigate the complexities of the 21st century, the spirit of America remains unbroken, ever resilient, ever hopeful. We face the future with determination, knowing that whatever it holds, we'll meet it head-on together. As one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. From its discovery to the present day, America's history is a testament to the human spirit. This journey, this saga, has been one of relentless pursuit. The pursuit of freedom, unity, equality, and resilience in the face of adversity. Let's take a moment to reflect on the themes that have shaped this great nation, themes that are as relevant today as they were when the first settlers set foot on the New World. The struggle for freedom has been a constant thread, weaving its way through the tapestry of America's history. It began with the birth of a nation that dared to dream of liberty and self-governance, a nation that fought for its right to exist. But America's journey wasn't always smooth. It was a journey fraught with challenges, with moments of division and despair. Yet, in every instance, America emerged stronger, more unified. The Civil War, a house divided, was a painful period of conflict and strife. But out of the ashes of this turmoil rose a nation united, a nation that had learned the value of unity. The Great Depression, too, was a time of intense hardship, but it was also a time of incredible resilience. Despite the economic downturn, the spirit of America remained unbroken. This resilience was once again displayed during the World Wars, when the nation stood strong against the forces of tyranny and oppression. The fight for equality, embodied in the Civil Rights Movement, was another pivotal chapter in America's story. It was a movement that fought for the rights of all citizens, regardless of their race or ethnicity. It was a movement that reminded us that America's strength lies in its diversity. And now, as we step into the new millennium, America continues to evolve, continues to strive towards its ideals. It is a testament to the human spirit, to the power of dreams and the will to make them come true. In the heart of every American, the dream lives on, a testament to the enduring spirit of this great nation.